For this exercise, we're going to go over doing soft surfaces, first pillows and then drapes. So remember we looked at this class last time. When you're trying to draw a pillow, and this should help you with your homework, it's good if you can start by just using a very soft broken line and see how I'm letting the line dip in too, as if the pillow has a place where it's been depressed, okay? Or this side, I'm going to round the corners and make it feel like I'm seeing kind of the end of the pillow here. Okay, let's see, we have another one behind. Okay, and then now once I've got those qualities, I want to go ahead and take my marker and define where the pillows are overlapping. This is with the 95. Okay, and then see where it dips in. Think of it like a hill where the hill's creating a valley right there. I'm going to add a little darker value in those valleys, or where it curves in like this, adding a darker value, or where one pillow overlaps another. But see how that's going to make it feel more dimensional right off. Now, this is when we want to think about, depending on, for the bed, are they going to be white pillows? Are they going to have a color? So like, for example, if I wanted this to be something like a pillow sham, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just add a line in here. But see how the line is going contour to the shape of the pillow. It's not straight and rough. Or like, let's say, this one I want to add a pattern. So you can think about, again, let's say I have a little flower pattern on this one, like some kind of sheet. So the pattern's going to get kind of disrupted going into that fold and not be quite as clear as it might be out here on the smoother faces of the pillow. Again, with quick sketch, you're just implying all this. You don't have to draw like perfect little irises or fleur-de-lis or whatever it is. It's the pattern. You're just kind of implying it with some abstracted shapes typically. So again, on here where it's kind of folding under, I might just see bits of the flower, not the whole thing. Okay, and then finally, let's say on this one, if it's just a solid color, notice I have those grays in there already, so I'm going to flip it to the back and just add more of this color. But again, notice I'm just using a soft pressure to try to apply the color softly and leave some white highlight so it doesn't look a big solid mass, like it's got folds in it, and highlight and shadow. Okay, so there's our pillows. Now again, if I feel like it didn't have enough punch, I can always go back in and add another coat of gray. So see how that darkens it and makes it have a little more dimension. Okay, now we're going to look at how to do that same idea with the window treatment. So let's say on my bedroom I'm going to have some kind of window treatment. I want to start by, if it's a rod, I can see the rod, and then let's say the curtain's going to kind of disappear into it. So that's where the folds are going to come down. And then I'll see the rod again. This is the kind with the little grommets within the face of it. And then this one I'm going to see kind of coming out as the end. Okay, so let's say I'm bringing these folds down, and then as they come down, I want them to billow out in some areas and then fold back in others. So I'm going to bring it down so it feels like they're folding on top of one another. Okay, so you can kind of see where it goes in and out and curves around. Okay, so now as I do this, well, I guess we'll do the other side just so it makes sense. So let's say I've got another panel here. Now on your homework though, you don't want to close off your window too much, because that's going to be your light source for your shadows. That's what that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Not in a very verbal mood obviously at the moment. Trying to get more verbal. Okay, so again, I'm down here, I'm going to try to curve the lines in and out in a little bit different way so it doesn't feel like they're too symmetrical. This one looks shorter than that one. That's okay. All right, so now what we're going to do, see, here's the bottom of the window, and here's the frame of the window. Now, this will also help me show you, like, let's say these are window sheer, like sheer windows, and let's say that this is the darker frame that I'm seeing. Okay, so let's say I'm seeing a frame here for the window. So one thing I can do is flip it to the back and then just draw that frame in, kind of broken up like this, but following the same lines of the perspective. So I'm kind of seeing the window kind of suggested through the sheer curtain. I'll show this looks in 1 second. So see how you can kind of see the outline of the window? So I'm going to make that a little crisper. So you just kind of see it with the implied feeling of the frame through there, down in this area. And I'm going to use that same color, and then where the window treatment rolls in and overlaps, that's where I'm going to have those valleys. So I want to use the darker value on those edges to start to get the folds in the fabric. Okay, so you're starting to see some depth on it, but I'm going to go one step darker. I was using the 75, and I'm going to go to 65 and just darken some of those folds just so it has a little more pop. When you're doing window treatment too, remember it has gravity, these are hanging. Sometimes it's helpful to kind of pull your hand with kind of a streak feel to get the gravity feel on the window treatment. Okay, so even with the light marker here, I'm going to drag my hand a little more so I get the feeling of the window treatment. You're starting to see the depth on it? Okay, so now I want to add a stripe. So just like we were talking about with the pillow, if I want to think about the contouring effect, so if this is curving in, I'm going to curve the stripe this way. This fold's curving out, so now it's going to go this way. This is curving out, curving in. And so see how that can make it feel more dimensional. So now I've got to kind of match that on this side. So it feels like I can see the stripe. Okay, so let's do, that's how I can make this one longer. I'll add a stripe to the bottom. So I'm going to just add a little extension here. It's a little messy, but you'll get an idea. Okay, so let's say if I do the same thing on the bottom. So let's say it's got a double stripe. Okay, and then I'm going to add a darker gray underneath the curtain on those inside folds especially, or maybe even to the side here. And then I start to see the visual weight of the bottom. Okay, so let's give this a try. This is on page 87 of your workbook. So page 87. And that's the curtains, and then the pillows, I just imagine, so you can look at a photo of a pillow if that could help. But I would recommend practicing these before you tackle your homework. That way you can get comfortable with folds, and that'll help you with the bedding on the folds and the bedding on the homework. Okay, let's give it a try.